Greetings hobbyists, this is Artisans of Bool, and in this video we're having a look at the new Boolean option that comes with Blender 4.5. So to have a look at this, all I'm going to do is bring in a cube, and then I'm just going to go into side view, Shift and D, and we're going to create a duplicate. Now you'll notice straight away here that we get this face fighting where we've got this overlap because the face of this object here is directly on top of the face of this object just here, and this creates this face fighting problem. Now this is important for demonstrating what the different types of Boolean options can do and what our new option can do. So we're just going to select both of those, Shift and D, Y, and then Shift and R to get 3 different copies, and we'll have a look at these one at a time. Now just to speed things up, I am using Bool Tool for this. If you just go to Edit, Preferences, go to Get Extensions and type in Bool, you're going to have to click Install here and then save your preferences. So we'll start with the first option. So if I click, Shift click, Control and minus, we get a Boolean in our modifier panel, and we've got the solver set to float. And you'll notice this hasn't worked. This is a difference Boolean, so we should have had this object being cut out of this object, and instead it's actually kind of unioning them together but with issues. Now the reason for that is that this float option does basically the simplest mathematics it can, and that can't work out that these two faces are on top of each other. As soon as I take this object and move it, we get a Boolean that works perfectly fine, and it would have worked fine to begin with if those faces weren't on top of each other, but as it is, it will not work with two faces or edges or vertices perfectly on top of each other. However, this is faster than the exact option, which we're going to look at in a second, which means it does the calculations faster, and if I ever decide I want to move this around and these were complex objects, it will lag less. So that's a reason that we might want to use this fast option. Now if we come here and do the same, let's Control and minus again, and we turn to exact, you'll notice that we've not got this problem. We can use the difference Boolean with these faces exactly on top of each other, whereas with this object we'd have to do something like S and then Y to increase the size on the Y-axis. Not that that's a huge problem. The main issue this solves is that when you're going to use a lot of complex objects, there's a good chance you might end up with a face or a vert or an edge on top of each other, so this makes it less likely to go wrong. But it is slower, and that is important, which means that the calculations will take longer, and if I was to move this around and this was a complex object, it's going to take longer to do the maths, and therefore be more laggy and more juddering as you do it. Now, in Blender 4.5, we get a new option. Let's just Control and minus, and that is the Manifold option. Now, you'll notice that this has worked fine, just like our exact option. But what's important here is that this is using, again, slightly simpler mathematics from what I understand, which means that this is faster than using the exact method. So effectively, the manifold is the best of both worlds, with one exception. And that is, and the clue's in the name, both of the objects involved need to be manifold. So for example, if I just X and delete out this face, you'll notice that even if I move this around, this has stopped working. Now there are easy ways of solving this. If I just go to Edit, Preferences, and in Get Extensions we type in 3D Print. If you install the 3D Print toolbox, and I select this and hit N, come to 3D Print, we get this option to check it, and it will note that there's some non-manifold edges, come to Cleanup, Make Manifold, it's fixed the problem, and now this works. So this isn't a huge negative, but it is something to be aware of. Whereas if we come to the exact option here, and I delete out this face, it is going to mean this doesn't work perfectly where we've got the overlap, but if I move this to the side, this now has no problem, even though we don't have a face just here. So we're missing this face on this side. So anyway, I thought that was quite interesting. I thought it was something you might want to be aware of, and I'm pretty much going to use this Manifold Solver most of the time now. Now, if this is going to be your preference, or the exact is going to be your preference, if you go to Edit, Preferences, come to your add-ons and type in Bool, you can actually set this so that it automatically uses whichever solver you want as the default option. So I'm going to set Manifold as my default option and save my preferences so that now whenever let's just bring in a cube and Shift and D and bring in another cube, whenever I Control and minus, it automatically starts as that manifold Boolean option, which for me is the right choice. It's fast, but also deals with the problems of overlapping faces, edges, or verts. Anyway, I hope that was useful to you. I hadn't seen many videos covering this, so I thought it was an interesting one to put out there, just so you know what to do with this new option. If that was useful to you, it would be really appreciated if you hit that like button, and feel free to subscribe for more great Blender content. Hope to see you in the next video, and have a great day.